Hello, my name is Paul Tice, and this is part 3 of What is the Soul? If you've not seen the first 2 parts, it's recommended that you do that first. The purpose of this talk is to further clarify the relationship of the body and mind to the soul, especially as it relates to the process of awakening. The exercises I promised in this talk will also begin here, but with just one to get us started. They're meant to remove the barriers that prevent you from experiencing a direct connection to your soul. But first, there's a transformative energy that we all have within our bodies, which is commonly called kundalini. It's been documented in the holy traditions of the world from the earliest of times, with men and women from every religion having had the experience. This energy is said to lie dormant at the base of the spine, but can be released and travel up through the spine, through various energy centers, or chakras as they are sometimes called, up into the brain. This energy may stop at any of these 7 spiritual centers, or can go all the way up into the brain and fill it with a powerful energy. When this happens, one often experiences a current of energy traveling up from the spine and a great flood of light exploding in their mind, along with feelings of extreme bliss. Experiencing a unity with God, the universe, and all things in existence can also occur. This experience often transforms people due to a new perspective that could be considered a spiritual awakening. This event is triggered primarily through meditation or breathing exercises, yoga postures known as asanas, the chanting of mantras, or spiritual studies. It has also occurred spontaneously in some people. Many believe that when a person is ready to evolve into a higher level of being, this energy appears. It is also believed that this new level of awareness represents the next step in the evolutionary process of mankind. For now, however, most of us are not ready. It's like we have a wild horse in our bodies asleep, and we're not allowed to ride it without first knowing how to tame it. To be clear, kundalini is an energy that is in the body. It's not the soul, but it's a means to access it. It is, in effect, the human energy system, but we use very little of it. Unlike kundalini, the soul is not of the body. It's not from here, and there are many stories that talk about the descent of the soul from above and into our bodies. So, the kundalini can travel up the spine to meet the soul, and the soul travels down from somewhere above into the body. The soul resides near the human heart and near the spine at the heart chakra. This is where I and other mystics have experienced it. For example, Ramana Maharshi said that the self, with a capital S, is seated in the lotus of the heart. And Lama Govinda, he wrote Foundations of Tibetan Mysticism, said that pure consciousness is a shining jewel and, quote unquote, cannot be found anywhere except in the lotus of one's heart. This is where the soul takes up residence in one's body. I know. And when kundalini energy connects up to it, with the body in full balance, the energy continues up from the heart and through the crown chakra, allowing a connection to the place where the soul is from. At that point, the power of the soul is fully activated once it's linked to its source. The important thing to know is that kundalini is of the body and is not your soul. Your soul is the real you and is separate from your body. The first exercise I'm about to share will demonstrate for you on every level of your being that you are not your body. Once you know this in such a complete way, you'll be one step closer to experiencing who you really are. All of the exercises we are about to embark on are different from kundalini. Instead of working with kundalini through the body, we are working with the mind as our chosen agent. Same goal, different avenues. Both mind or body can be used to access the soul. Kundalini is not something I teach, but I want you to be aware of it. One needs a qualified teacher to approach it properly, or should it be raised spontaneously, as sometimes happens, one needs instruction from those more knowledgeable than myself. Kundalini can awaken one to the soul, but through the body. It can take the body and the mind and marry them to the soul. This is an alternative to what I teach, but it's being mentioned because it illustrates that the body and the mind your low and middle selves, can be helpful and are not to be considered enemies. They are your allies, but they're blind to the soul, resistant to it, or both. The mind and body must learn to recognize the soul and listen to it at the same time they're being exposed for not being the real you. In part 1, we revealed that you're not your body or your thoughts or your mind or your emotions, and by dwelling on this, one can find what remains and to discover your true self. But we also want your body, thoughts, and mind and emotions to recognize what remains and integrate with it. All of these parts of you have intelligence, which can benefit from an awakening using our method or from kundalini. Just because the body and mind are not your true self and are imposters does not mean that they are the enemy. Those graced with kundalini can attest to that. Don't mistake our approach for attacks on the mind and body. We need our minds and our bodies. We are using these false selves on a daily basis, and they must be integrated or married to the soul in a process of enlightenment, rather than pushed off to the side. I believe the process presented here, if done right, can take far less time than kundalini does, which often takes years for kundalini to work. The soul just needs to surface and work with the mind and body on an equal footing. That's our goal. While pursuing it, one must remember that the soul prefers harmony over conflict. It's not out to destroy the ego, as some teachers mistakenly try to do. It happens all the time. The ego will protect itself from some threats. And threats like this, and it'll interpret it as such. Little progress ever gets made. With that in mind, here's the first exercise. It relates to the body and can be used anytime during the day. It works if you're just sitting, or if you're on a walk or doing a workout. Be aware of your body, moving through space and time, and think, I am not this body, I'm just using it right now. It remains a powerful exercise even when you're sitting still. No matter where you are, dwell on this affirmation. Really explore it. I am not this body, I'm just using it right now. Repeat it, but this time, ask at the end, who am I? And dwell on it some more. Make it a meditation or a mantra for your daily walks or workouts. Or just when you're sitting alone, just mention it as well. Dwell on it with and without the question, who am I, at the end. After you spend sufficient time on this, and you'll know when it's time, then you're done. Do this with the goal of integrating your higher self in a cooperative way with your mind and body. Over time, these affirmations will allow these false selves, your mind, body, thoughts, and emotions, to listen to something higher. The remaining 3 affirmations will be spread out over a number of talks, giving you time to reap the benefits of each one. They're simple affirmations. Each should be done for about 2 to 3 weeks or longer if you feel it necessary. Life can distract you from this work, so I've created a reminder. First, think of what color would best represent your soul. Take a piece of colored string or ribbon or rubber band or strip of plastic, whatever works, tie it around the thumb. There's mine. I used string at first, but it kept falling off until I tied it just under the first knuckle. I also used pieces of rubber band and tied them just tight enough to stay. And my current favorite is the thin colored bread bag wires that can be linked together and sized. Get creative, but don't use a ring because you'll forget it's there. Use the color that you equate with your soul. Whenever you notice the string during the day, do an affirmation. This makes a huge difference. I do way more affirmations with these. And after the first full day of using one, I had a mind-blowing thing happen the night after that I will share later in a future talk. These exercises can be done almost instantly. They're a breeze, but one may have to do them for a few weeks or longer before a deeper part of you gets it and something amazing happens. One wants to go beyond the mere concept that you are not these false selves to the point where you experience the soul completely. You don't want this opportunity to slip away, so a reminder on the thumb can help. Why on the thumb? This is the most important part of your hand, just like the soul is the most important part of you. Every time you use your thumb, the string or whatever is there will remind you of the soul and to do an affirmation. It works. You'll stay on track and you'll get results, I promise. And when something big happens from this work, and it will, don't stop. You could change the color of the string to signify what happened and represent the next level. Don't quit after one major shift. Soon, the string will serve more as a direct connection from you to your soul than just something tied to your thumb. So we've reached the end of part 3. Stay on track, and we'll see you next time.